We have the tech to get food delivered in 15 minutes, but we all have horror stories about buying tickets. The Game Time app gives fans the advantage. Get amazing tickets in just a few taps. Fees are included, so what you see is what you pay. And the Game Time guarantee means authentic tickets at the best price every time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets to concerts, sports, comedy, and more with Game Time. Download the Game Time app and create an account for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply.
This is Money Moves on VSiN, the sports betting network.
All right, busy day here on Money Moves as we kick off hour 2 of the program live from this at the D. Back at Circa, though, tomorrow as contest weekend gets underway. Stormy, Buonantony, Jonathan Von Tobel with you. And remember, you miss any of the show, any day, anytime, you can always your podcast, download, subscribe, listen on your own time. We had Dr. David Chow on the program a little bit earlier talking about some of the more significant injuries entering the NFL season this year. Also, still to come on the show, Chris Gimenez is going to join us in about 30 minutes, talk through all things Major League Baseball, former MLB catcher, doing great things with MLB Network, Sirius XM Radio right now. But the race for the 2 seed in particular heating up. A big game today on deck between the Dodgers and Braves. Braves stealing 2 of the 3 already. See if they can complete the sweep today. But lots that we'll get into with him. JVT, we're going to start this hour, though, the way that we have the last couple of weeks, diving into the NFL as our training camp tour continues.
Join Stormy and JVT as they go on the Money Moves NFL training camp tour.
Seems at least somewhat appropriate, JVT, after we get the news this morning that Seattle star tackle Leonard Williams gets a 3-year, $90 million extension, that we're talking Seattle Seahawks today. The defending Super Bowl champs enter the season off of a 14-3 year. There were all of the question marks about whether or not Sam Darnold was going to be able to deliver. They carry over most of the roster from a season ago, but they do lose a very important piece as well in their offensive coordinator, Clint Kubiak, who's now out here in Vegas.
Yeah, man, this is going to be really, really interesting because I think Kubiak is kind of like the litmus test when you're talking about how this is going to go. And I don't want to be one that would doubt Sam Darnold. I mean, just you can't anymore. But I can't get out of my mind what we saw from Darnold over the last stretch of the season, which I do think is going to be important as we look at what this season is going to be without Clint Kubiak. So what I'm talking about here for Darnold, if you go weeks 1 through 10 for him last season, he was in the midst of an MVP conversation. He was completing 71% of his passes for 9.9 yards per attempt, 17 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He had 22 big-time throws down tighter windows further away downfield, a turnover-worthy play rate of 2.3%. He had a 92.3 PFF passing grade. It was incredible watching him out there. And if you put it in the context of all the other quarterbacks in the NFL, by PFF passing standards, he was the second-best quarterback in the NFL through the first 10 weeks of the season, behind only Matthew Stafford. However, speaking of Stafford, they go and they play the Rams. If you remember, it's the game that he throws 4 interceptions, and still they lined up for a long field goal to potentially win it. From that game on, Stormy, he was the 19th ranked quarterback in the NFL by PFF standards. His yards per pass attempt dropped from 9.9 to 7.2. His turnover-worthy play rate skyrocketed from just under 2.5% to 3.8%. And he's putting the ball in danger, completing fewer percentage passes. He went from 71% to 63%. It was a steep decline. And a lot of analysts would point to the fact that the defenses, in a very simplistic way, stopped just stacking the box against the Seattle run game and said, oh, we have to account for some of this stuff. Let's start to drop back and let's do this. Okay, well, that's a little bit of a problem because if all of a sudden the other defenses are like, hey, let's defend the pass, and you just tank as a quarterback, that's going to be a really big problem. And to me, that's one of the biggest things for Seattle. The play for you dropped off when teams started to adjust the way that you played offense. And now with Kubiak not there to accentuate and give you the best opportunity from a play calling standpoint, from a scheming standpoint, what does that look like for Sam Darnold this year?
Okay, yeah, I mean, a lot of interesting questions that you raise. Worth noting, of course, Kenneth Walker is out as he goes to Kansas City, but Jadarian Price does step in, number 32 overall here. He is one of those guys that has really creeped up on the odds board for Offensive Rookie of the Year this season as well. But still, Sam Darnold certainly, you have some help when you have a guy like Jackson Smith and Jigba, too, that you can throw the ball to. I was reading Jeremy Fowler had reported there's supposed to be an expanded role for Rashid Shaheed this year. They did lose Jake Bobo. I know he didn't exactly do a ton in the receiving game, but he was still a key piece, I think, in general of what they were trying to do. So just a couple logistical updates for you from that standpoint there. Defensively, what do you see for Seattle?
I mean, I think they're going to be one of the best units in the NFL. I don't think there's really any question about how good they're going to be. I think you feel relatively confident that that's going to be the case. I do think, in today's NFL, to an extent, you are as good as the offense you face, but if you're one of these defenses like Seattle, you're always going to be able to accentuate your chances. You lost a little bit in the edge rusher room, but for the most part, you should be able to recreate everything that you had from a season ago. So I think, I don't think it's unfair, right? Out of all of this, the thing that you trust the most is that this Seattle defense is going to be one of the better ones in the National Football League that's going to give them an opportunity every single week to potentially win some of these games. But does this become more Bronco-esque, like Broncos from a season ago, where the Broncos came out on the right side of all of those coin flips? We were 11-2 in one-score games. I don't know what the record's going to be for Seattle, but will Seattle find itself now in a ton of these coin flips because the offense maybe takes a step back and it's going to heavily rely on its defense? Are they going to be good enough to be able to pull those coin flips out like the Broncos did a season ago?
Stat to give you that I found pretty interesting, speaking of if this offense does ultimately decline. History says that it will after losing your offensive coordinator and winning a Super Bowl. The last 4 Super Bowl champs to lose their All-C have dropped from top 10 scoring units to bottom half of the league. Most recently, we saw Philadelphia in 24-25 go from the 7th best offense in the NFL down to 20th. The Chiefs in their most recent Super Bowl were the top offense in the league that year. They fell all the way down to 16th. The Rams, when they won with Matthew Stafford, from 7th in the league to 27th. And then if you go back to 2017-18, when the Eagles won it again, they had the 3rd best offense in the league, fell down to 20th as well. So significant drop-offs when you have lost your offensive coordinator. From a betting standpoint,
Can I point out, just because we always forget, but I'd like to do it at least with the teams that are really good at this. We did it with the Jets. Do you know what I'm going to do here?
No.
One of the best special teams units in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
The Seattle Seahawks were awesome on special teams.
Speaking of Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah, right. So Rashid Shaheed was part of it. The returns are absolutely incredible. They were the 2nd best team by DVOA standards. Think about this. New York Jets were first, 10.2%. Seattle, 8.6%. 3rd was the Washington Commanders at 4.4%. So it's these two teams were far and away the best special teams unit in the NFL. I do wonder, because I'm not well-versed in special teams and the ability to replicate success, but you should probably, again, have one of the better special teams unit. If Shaheed's going to be back there returning punts and kicks and doing all sorts of stuff, you're going to have a pretty good opportunity. But that's definitely worth pointing out that this group was awesome on special teams. And that was a really big reason why. I mean, if you remember, we talked about it a ton. Hey, why do you believe in Seattle? A big part of it was this is a well-balanced unit last year, and it was the special teams that we invoked a ton.
Yeah, it was all 3 phases, quite literally, for the Seattle Seahawks. From a betting standpoint, though, again, it was a franchise best season in the regular season with 14 wins. Obviously, you go on to win the Super Bowl. This year, for the numbers, 10.5 is where the win total currently sits. For the division wins, 3.5. Heavy juice, though, on the over at -175. Most wins in the NFL, 12-1, fewest, 170-1. To be a playoff team, it's -225. The NFC West, though, it is interesting, being the defending champs, that it is the Los Angeles Rams with all of the adjustments and moves that they've made in the offseason. They're back in the driver's seat in the division. They're the shortest shot to win a Super Bowl this year. Where do you think they fit in terms of the division and overall success rate?
I mean, I think it's kind of tempting, even though we just said all of these things about the offense. I think plus 215 seems tempting for the division. I think a lot of that division -105 that you're looking at on the screen right now, if you're watching at VSiN.com, I feel like a lot of that is like just protecting against some liability that you're not stacking up some, even if it's small, like plus prices on the Rams. But at 2-1 to repeat in the division, like I understand the Rams got Myles Garrett and that they're a very good team, but Seattle, I don't know if played them pretty well last year. And this is a pretty good team. And the 49ers look like they are the walking wounded. And so maybe the bottom of the division, I don't want to.
That's rude.
Well, I'm just saying, no, but
I get where you're coming from.
Let's go down the path. I know you don't want to do this, but let's go down the path where the 49ers are actually really beleaguered with injuries, where they actually really impact what this team is, and all of a sudden they fall really, they can't just keep doing this, right? They're not this. How many games did they win last year? 11? However many they won. What if Shanahan can't do it anymore, and they just plummet back down to earth, and the worst case scenario happens?
2 years ago, basically.
Yeah, and they win 6 games, what I was going to say, right? Now all of a sudden, if you're Seattle, 4 of your games in the division are a little bit easier than as opposed to just 2 of them, which is Arizona. Now, all of a sudden, you have a better chance at scooping up some easy wins. Now, so do the Rams, but the gap between you, I don't think, is that big between Seattle and Los Angeles. And then if the worst-case scenario happens to the 49ers as well, I see plus 215 next to a team that's as balanced and as well-formed as they are. That seems to stick out a lot.
49ers won 12 games last year.
Sorry, yeah, there we go.
Despite all of the injuries and everything they were dealing with. That said, not to derail this conversation and go San Francisco.
Oh, here we go.
But I feel like both the Rams
You're not allowed
and
to.
49ers, what?
You're not allowed to go 49ers.
It's a dual comment that I feel like injuries obviously play a huge role in every season no matter what.
Sure.
But the Rams and 49ers specifically, when I look at the just core, pure talent on both sides of the ball, if either one of those teams stays healthy, that's a Super Bowl roster.
Sure.
So I'm just if the other side of variance ends up happening, let's go San Francisco.
Okay, we're not talking about the other side of variance for your team. I'm just talking about this specific scenario.
Last 90 seconds, because I did bring up Jadarian Price. He, before the preseason began, was one of those names that I was pretty interested in in that market. Now, as we get closer to the season and his number has dropped, what do you think about him?
Part of that is the upper leg injury, right, that he had suffered that caused him to miss some time. I think it makes sense. I think the difference is you don't know exactly from a play calling standpoint what this is going to look like for Seattle. You know, I was talking about this with the Raiders in that Kubiak, when he was there, you didn't he liked to go with the committee approach. So you saw that split. But with Brian Fleury, who is the new offensive coordinator, is he going to take the same approach? Is he going to be more of like hey, I want to rely on a bell cow type guy, and that could mean the Price could be the guy? So you just don't know from that standpoint how they want to operate. But I would say yes, it makes sense. Price has got the talent for sure.
I was trying to pull up the market, but for whatever reason on DraftKings right now, they don't have any of the rookie markets up, at least that I can see. Do you have FanDuel by chance?
What are you looking for?
I was just curious what his current number was at right now. Jadarian Price, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Is it 7-1?
I will get it for you right now, Stormy.
Last I looked, it was 7-1. Not totally sure. From the NFL Betting Guide, though, and we've been talking about this a lot, NFL Betting Guide out right now. You only get it, though, if you're a VSiN Pro subscriber, vsin.com/subscribe. Okay, good to know. In our guide, only Adam Burke and Dave Tooley had Seattle winning the division. A lot of people, though, have them as another team from the NFC West, still making the playoffs and everything. No one had them winning the NFC for the second year in a row.
It's hard, man.
I gave a tease. Let's say it was a tease for the 49ers, because that's the team that we're covering coming up tomorrow. When we come back, we do have more NFL news and notes, though, to get to. Oh, unfortunate that. Oh, no, we are live there. For a second, I thought that graphic was taken, because I was going to say I wanted the audience to see your eye roll. It was heavy. Let's get it.
A fat joke?
This is an important notice to all you.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
All right, we got a little bit of news in the National Football League as we welcome you back to Money Moves, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. He's Jonathan Von Tobel. I'm Stormy Buonantony. Just now from Adam Schefter, the Dolphins have traded Tutu Atwell back to the Rams in exchange for running back Jarquez Hunter. He said, please, sweet 8-pound, 6-ounce newborn infant Jesus, hadn't even said a word yet. Please get me out of Miami and back to a Super Bowl contender. So there you go.
The fact that you have that entire spiel from the best Will Ferrell movie, Talladega Nights.
Talladega Nights is just so good.
Yeah, it's the best it's best Will Ferrell movie out there. Is amazing, but I'm just really having a lot of trouble right now trying to compartmentalize this earth-shattering news in the National Football League about Tutu Atwell now being a member of the Los Angeles Rams. I mean, probably, what do we think, like minus 500 now to win the Super Bowl?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Los Angeles Rams?
Massive needle mover.
Yeah.
Massive.
I mean, why do we even play the season now at this point?
So I know that you're doing this in jest.
Oh, do you?
I do have sorry. I'm just saying, on a serious note, with regard to the Rams, and obviously we're coming fresh off of the Seattle Seahawks preview, talking all things NFC West. Does it surprise you that we still don't have an answer 2 weeks away from the official? We're, as of today, 2 weeks out from the first game, or less than, right? Because it's on Wednesday. No, on Aaron Donald.
No, not really. This is just, I don't know. It's just wrong. I think we are underestimating what 2 years off does to a guy. I know he was one of the best. I'm not questioning who he was as a player, but I think we are underestimating how, we all think he's just, hey, 2 years off, just going to hit the ground running, everything's going to be great. I think that's a big part of the logic and what he's thinking about, for sure, and what that would actually mean for this team, 100%, in terms of the snaps he's going to play, in terms of his impact. So I think, to your point, too, the longer this drags out, he's probably, if he's going to come back, he just doesn't want to participate in practice, but, I don't know, don't you want to? Don't you want to get your body a little calloused up and ready to go to get ready for this?
And he has done those tryout workouts, right? Where
what does that entail, though? 2
of them that he's at least been at the around there. I don't fully know. Full disclosure.
Swim moves and
sure.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, we know you're good, man. But
But you're in shape, but are you in football shape? I think that's the big question. Absolutely.
It's we were talking about this. How did Dr. Chow put it in the first hour? But all these injuries, right? You're coming in and you had a summer off or whatever it was, and now you've got acclimation injuries. I think is the way you termed it, right? You got to acclimate your body, or else you're going to get hurt. And like this is he knows it. We all know it. This is an insane level of competition that you're just going to like step in and be perfectly fine. So we'll see. By the way, I wanted to note really quick because we were talking about Seattle, which, by the way, again, if you missed out on any part of the team training camp previews, you can watch them all up on the app or on the website at VC.com. Anthony was asking what was Sam's numbers in the playoffs, because I had mentioned from week 11 on how he had been relatively poor. We do have those for you here. In the postseason, completion percentage and yards per attempt were almost identical with post-week 11 Sam Darnold. So 61.5% completion, 7.4 yards per attempt. Again, before the downfall, completion percentage was 71%. Yards per attempt was like 9.9. He did not throw an interception. It was 5 touchdowns to no interceptions over the course of 3 games, committed just 2 turnover-worthy plays. So he did a better job of taking care of the football, but was nowhere near still as dynamic a thrower of the ball as he was, especially when it came to completion percentage and yards per attempt.
Seattle an 11-1 shot to repeat as Super Bowl champs this year, something an NFC team has not done since 1992. Meanwhile, the aforementioned Rams, plus 550. Aaron Donald, a 9-1 shot for comeback player of the year, 4th on the board.
Yeah, I'm an idiot.
What?
Wait, yeah, the Chiefs repeated, right?
Correct.
Okay.
I said NFC.
No, I know you did.
Yeah.
That's why I was thinking. I was like, who's the last AFC team to do
They
it?
were
And then
going
I was like,
for the three-peat,
remember?
remember?
That has to be the Chiefs.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Also, what did you think? I know yesterday off air, so a couple just interesting things that have popped up on the timeline in the last 24 hours. I would love to get your reaction to ESPN removing the bottom line ticker for college football this year.
Let me talk about this.
B, not on the air, and B, the Pro Bowl being eliminated.
We didn't talk about this on the air?
Nope. We were just BSing about it behind the scenes.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad it's gone. Thank God. I will say that I think the ticker sucks. It can go to hell. I'm fine.
A lot of people are devastated, like very nostalgic about the ticker.
Dude, I saw somebody, I can't remember who it was at the sports.
I like the ticker.
I mean, like you like it or dislike, whatever. Like you shouldn't have that strong of feelings. I'm obviously like going a little overboard with the "it can go to hell" thing, but I saw somebody tweet like ESPN claims to be the worldwide leader in sports, and now is doing away with. Like, dude, can we stop? Like, we don't have to do this with every single little change in the world. I understand that now with social media, everybody has a platform. It doesn't have to be this serious every time. I don't need a think piece about how the elimination of the ticker is now leading to more young people on their cell phones to check scores during sporting events. Like, we just don't need to do it. It is so annoying. Everything's so dramatic.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is there is never just a, oh, okay. I feel like that's how I am, right? When I heard the ticker was gone, I was like, okay, fine. Someone tweeted at me and said more room for Stormy Buonantony on the screen. I'm like, you know what? I like where your head's at.
What I initially think of, I'm going to try to do my best Colin Cowherd. What I initially think of is, do you remember the scene of Finding Nemo where they are running from the sharks, and there's all those landmines underneath, right? And so, like, they accidentally blow up the mines, and so Marlin, the dad fish, and Dory are swimming away, and there's all these explosions, and it's this really chaotic scene, and then it cuts to the 2 birds that are just floating in the ocean above them, and, like, one bubble just pops up, and the other bird just thinks that the guy farted and he flew away. Like, that's what I think this is, right?
That's everybody's
right, like, everybody's so angry, and everybody's like, oh, my God, this is so... And then all of a sudden you realize, like, yeah, this means, like, really nothing, and you're all just getting pissy about it for no reason.
Took a while to get there, but that is a great
right?
comp. How about the Pro Bowl? This is something
get rid of it.
I texted you immediately. Justin Emery, our usual producer, even though he's over in Hawaii right now, he's still keeping us up to date with the news. And when he first texted that over, I was like, great, truly, because it's the way that the game has changed so much. Now that people actually care about injuries, right? You're not going full go Sean Taylor pads blasting people on the football field, right? It's been a different game. It's transitioned from what it initially was to then like the two-hand touch style to now flag football and all of these games and events and stuff. It's not worth it, especially when you think about all the alternates that you see year in and year out. What's the point of this thing when all is said and done? So they're still going to announce Pro Bowlers, which I think is worth noting.
Sure.
There's not going to be any but those are the guys. And I think it was Albert Breer, maybe it was Warren Sharp. One of those guys tweeted out, Shador, who?
It was Shador, and it was, I can't remember I think it was somebody else.
But it was Shador and I think Tyler Huntley.
Huntley.
Tyler Huntley make the Pro Bowl, and they say blow it up.
Yeah. No, look, I've held this belief for a very long time, and I will tie in our own media brethren. I think the laziest, there are stretches of the sports calendar in which our media brethren, from a topic standpoint, get extremely lazy. One of them is post-Super Bowl, because what happens post-Super Bowl is the NBA All-Star Game generally happens, and the NBA All-Star Game isn't good, and so everybody sits there and is like, we're going to talk about how bad the NBA All-Star Game is on this Monday because we have nothing else to talk about. We're not imaginative. They need to get rid of it, and that ties into the NFL Pro Bowl. The NFL Pro Bowl has been garbage for forever. They played it in a freaking hotel conference room in San Francisco. I was there, okay? They played that upstairs, all right? I shared an elevator with Joe Burrow. We made friends. We made eye contact, and I pushed the elevator button for him, okay? This has been garbage for so long, but we don't really talk about it because they did a perfect job of putting it between the Super Bowl and the end of the NFC and AFC championship games. So by the time the Pro Bowl's done, what is it? We're all Radio Row. We're all getting excited for the Super Bowl. This has been cheeks for so long. I am so glad they're going to get rid of it, and every sport but baseball needs to fill out the same. Baseball is the one sport that you can recreate to its highest level with the most accuracy because it's not as high impact. NBA, NHL, and of course the NFL all need to get away with it. I'm not. Your sport is fine. It went through a stretch. They did the Four Nation thing. It's cool. That's fine. People still got hurt in the Four Nation thing.
What I am saying is that I do like some of the events around All-Star Weekend, right? Like, I think the three-point competition is a very fun thing that they do. There are certain things that can be associated with the Pro Bowl that, like, none of it was good.
Yeah.
None of their skills competition were, like, I don't care about them pushing a sled. You know, like those types of things. I think all of it being gone is a positive. You have something to say.
Well, I was just going to say, and tying these both to the sports betting stuff, right? For the ticker standpoint, that went by the wayside when we got phones. And if you're a bettor, you shouldn't care about the ticker because
you get notifications for everything
you're tracking live lines, you're doing those sort of things. Like that kind of stuff, the ticker is irrelevant to you. If you're a bettor who is actually keeping track of things and whatnot, it doesn't really matter. And from this perspective, I mean, outside of the year that they changed the All-Star Game total, or excuse me, the way that the All-Star Game was played, and there was that mistake, I think it was actually here at Circa, where they hung the total up incorrectly, and that got destroyed. It's not really a betting opportunity for you either, so get them out of here.
One thing I have liked, though, about at least the announcement of the Pro Bowl going away is all of the clips that you're seeing, like Randy Moss just being freaking awesome back when they actually played the Pro Bowl game, back in the early 90s when Deion Sanders was setting interception records for it that stood the test of time. The Peyton Manning, I saw this earlier this morning, the Peyton Manning interview where he was talking about, I can't remember
Talk about Mike Vanderjagt,
yes,
his idiot
the drunk kicker.
How are you not going to tell me?
Sorry.
Got drunk and ran his mouth. Trust me, yeah. Why do you think Adam Vinatieri is an Indianapolis Colt? Mike Vanderjagt, who missed that kick against the Steelers.
Oh, good.
Come on now.
Yes, so I saw that going around today. So that has been at least kind of fun to get a little nostalgia, get a little bit of fun with it. We got to set aside here on Money Moves, but half an hour to go. Excited to have Chris Gimenez join us coming up next, former MLB catcher, talk through all things Major League Baseball as we get closer to the postseason. We are about a month away now from, I mean, it just feels like it's October already with the way some of these competitions are going. We'll be right back.
The Colonel's cooked up a new $10
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
I'm going to pull a JVT here real quickly and just say, NHL news, Connor Hellebuck has requested a trade officially. Did just want to throw that out there real quick. But we need to get to the sharp plays here because,
that's not a JVT thing because I don't forget that we have a read.
I didn't forget. But you know I love talking about the way that lines move and getting ahead of it, ladies and gentlemen. And the Sharp Plays is here to help you out. Exclusive data feeds from 4 major sportsbooks, thousands of sharp bettors and professional syndicates, all tracked in real time before the market moves. All of it filtered and sorted by version 6.0 of their AI model. That's the machine. Now the receipts. Every play is logged, every result public. Records dating back to 2011 and live logs since 2021. Check them out today at sharpplays.com. Again, that's sharpplays.com. But I did think that was important to know. We gave you a couple NBA beats, but Connor Hellebuck, obviously a Hart Trophy winner 2 years ago for the best player in the entire league. Didn't go great for the Winnipeg Jets a year ago, but he has, I guess, requested the trade a couple months ago, and it just made public earlier today as you get set for your NHL prep, because we're right around the corner from that. Meanwhile, we are in the thick of it for Major League Baseball, and our next guest is locked and loaded. Roll that open.
This is Behind the Plate with Chris Gimenez.
Oh, yeah, that music. We're going here. Chris Gimenez joining us here on the Progressive Guest Line, former MLB catcher, doing great work over at SiriusXM MLB Network Radio as well. And as a Reno guy, Chris, how are we feeling about the bright red UNLV Rebel shirt that we have over here to my left?
Yeah, there's an issue. I don't know if I'll be able to come on this show anymore if we continue to wear garbage like that. I understand that my Fremont cannon is your color this year, or it has been your color.
Yeah, there we go, correct.
I will say this, though. I think this is the year. Finally, I think this is the year. Our football team stinks, man.
Yeah.
Like, we need to get better, and we need to get better fast.
Jeff Choate's going to have them going. I think they're going to be okay. Like, I think they're going to be a good cover team for what it's worth this year, and might be heading in the right direction.
That's also true.
Yeah, right. So, I think they're going to be a plucky group. So we'll see if that actually plays out. But, I mean, I think we were talking about this off the air. People do underrate the rivalry between the South and the North here.
For sure.
A lot of people like to talk about all of the big rivalries, but it's a big one down here too. But we'll save it. People don't want to hear it. All right, let's talk about this. Let's talk about opportunity. The Cleveland Guardians had an opportunity in front of them with this scheduling stretch, and they've taken advantage of it in a very big way, winning all of these games. What is the staying power? Because it's easy to say they've been beating bad teams. Is anything that we have seen over this stretch legit that they can then spin forward into actually competing in the American League?
Yeah, so I think that's a really good point that you bring up, because they have been beating very, very bad teams. But that's exactly what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to beat the teams you're supposed to beat. That's how momentum starts, gaining a little bit there, and you get that snowball rolling downhill. You get confidence. The cool part about this is I think this offensive staying power is here to stay. I think it's really starting to come into form with Joe Adell being more comfortable and being just a key cog in the heart of the lineup. Obviously, Nathaniel Lowe has been an absolute stud. Both of those guys have been perfect fits. Jose Ramirez now 7 weeks back off of the hammy injury, is starting to hit the ball a lot more like Jose used to hit the ball. You've got Stephen Kwan, who's literally the hottest hitter on planet Earth right now. Travis Bazzana's hit the ball really hard. Maybe not a lot to show for it, but he's having more consistent at-bats. And then you add in this pitching staff that has been the backbone of this team for the last 4 years. They finally, on paper at least, this is probably the best team that we've had in Cleveland on paper. And I get it, we don't play the game on paper or in a vacuum. But I feel like if this team can have the staying power, and coming off of what they did last year, the momentum they carried into the season this year, I really don't know what can. So to me, it's boom or bust with this group. And I really like the way this group's kind of come together here the last 10 to 12 days.
You'll find this funny, JVT, as you mentioned Stephen Kwan and the run that he's been on lately. Adam Burke encouraged me to trade him from my fantasy team, and he texted me an apology the other day. He's like, of course, right when I tell you to do that, he goes off, because that's just how the world works. Let's go over to the National League, because a huge series going on right now between the Braves and Dodgers, and we see the Bravos get it done yesterday. The most unlikely of heroes, too, with Hassan Kim out there walking it off. But in terms of where they sit right now, battling for that 2 seed in the National League, huge pitching matchup coming up today. Chris Sale versus Yoshinobu Yamamoto. How do you see not only the competition playing out as we near the end of the season, but tonight's game as well?
Yeah, so tonight's game is like a marquee matchup. This is a Game 7 of a playoff series, like an NLCS type matchup, and it's got that type feel too. If you've watched any of these games the last 2 days, both walk-off victories for the Atlanta Braves, who have needed them desperately because they haven't played great the last 10 days until the Dodgers have come into town. And I think for the Braves, this is a little bit of a show-me series for them. They have to find a way. They're still 2 games back, but with Chris Sale going tonight, you feel pretty confident about that. The only problem is, unfortunately for the Braves, Yamamoto is going for the Dodgers, who has been their ace, their stopper, their main man the entire season. And I feel like it's going to be an absolute dogfight tonight. And as we say that, 2 unbelievable pitchers, 2 guys that are at the top, at least 5 in the National League Cy Young voting at this point, in my opinion, it'll probably be a score of 10-8 tonight, because that's baseball. And of course, when you have 2 elite pitchers going up against each other, they're going to give up 4 home runs each. And it's going to be what the heck just happened? But ultimately, I feel like the Dodgers are probably going to secure that 2 seed. If you look at their schedule coming up in the month of September, it is about as easy as it possibly gets, where the Braves have a significantly more difficult schedule, and their pitching, is not maybe as deep right now, at least, as the Dodgers are. When you can take a guy out like Roki Sasaki, like we saw last night, who came out with a blister, and you can replace him because Shohei Ohtani is now probably going to start on Sunday. When you take an ace out and replace him with another ace, I think your team's doing pretty good. So I think the Dodgers probably end up securing at the very least, that 2 seed, but I wouldn't even count the 1st seed overall either.
What do we make of this NL wildcard race, and specifically the Arizona Diamondbacks? Obviously, we saw yesterday you get the win over the Cubs. Eduardo Rodriguez again. Like, the metrics say he shouldn't be doing this, but he continues to do it. It's incredible. Right. They're a game back. Can they replace Stormy's Padres in this wildcard race? Will they be able to overcome maybe a couple of these other teams? I mean, the Phillies, I think, would be the most likely candidate, but, like, what's the Diamondbacks' fate at this point?
So the Diamondbacks are dealing with a lot right now. Obviously, the Ketel Marte situation is what it is. It's a stain on the organization, and they're going to have to find a way here very soon to kind of integrate him back in that clubhouse. And to my knowledge, he hasn't been back in the clubhouse since all the shenanigans have taken place. So they're going to have to find a way to deal with that. And truthfully, guys, if it wasn't for Eduardo Rodriguez, this team would be probably 10 games out of a wild card spot right now. He is literally the sole factor that's kept them in the race. With that being said, I love this group. I love Torey Lovullo so much. He gets a lot out of a little in regards to what they have there this year. If you look at the talent on their team, there's some super talented players. Ketel Marte, Perdomo, obviously Corbin Carroll. But then you look at the bottom half of this roster, and in my opinion, it's not near as good as the Padres. And I think the Padres bullpen is significantly better than the Diamondbacks. Their starting rotation as a whole is probably better than the Diamondbacks. And I think their offense is better than the Diamondbacks. So I hate to say it. I don't think they're going to find a way into the playoffs. I think they make it fun here for the next week or so. But that Ketel Marte situation is a real thing. And I could see that being a major issue in the month of September. I hope not. I hope they find a way to just allow him to come back, embrace him with open arms. But when you do what he's done the last 2 years in a row and kind of given up on your team, it's going to be really hard as a teammate and a guy in that locker room to want to just hug him and say, it's okay, man, come back in and just play baseball. So I think that's an issue. And honestly, I think the Padres are really, really good, and they're probably playing the best baseball they've played all year right now.
You might hate to say it. As a Padres fan, I don't hate to hear it. Great breakdown there, Chris, as always. Let's get into real quickly, because you brought up Shohei Ohtani potentially starting again this weekend. From an MVP standpoint, PCA has been in the driver's seat, but Shohei Ohtani, in the starts that he did have this year, 1.79 ERA, if he performs well, does he get back in that conversation now?
Absolutely. I think there's no way, even if he didn't pitch anymore this season, I think he still makes it very interesting just because of the fact that he did pitch at some point. And, oh, yeah, by the way, he's still a really good offensive player. So that plays into this as well. Now, that's not to take anything away from what PCA's done. I think he's deserving of a National League MVP this year for the type of season that he's had. But let's be honest. If Shohei comes back and he makes 3 or 4 or even 5 starts and does halfway decent, there's no way you can't give him the MVP. He's the only person in baseball that can do this and do it at an elite level on both ends. So to me, that's until he starts like sucking essentially at one of those or just completely stops pitching and doesn't have a good year offensively, the award's his to lose.
We are like-minded in that thought process. We're running out of time here, Chris, but thank you so much as always, and we'll talk to you again soon.
You got it, guys. Thanks.
And I let Chris go before I told our audience that you turned around the laptop to me and showed me the history of UNLV and
the Fremont Cannon?
Nevada going. Yeah, it's hard for me, honestly, to say Nevada. I know that it's the respectful way that you're supposed to speak about the university, but I, too, grew up here in Vegas. So UNR is the way that I have referred to that team forever.
4 straight, 6 out of the last 8, 8 out of the last 12.
Just saying. PCA, a near $2 favorite to win MVP right now, but if you think Shohei pitches even reasonably, plus 155, recency bias is a hell of a drug. We'll be right back.
$5,000. That's the average.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
College football is back and the NFL season is just around the corner. Now's time to get your edge with VSiN Pro on Monday of next week. Our updated NFL betting guide drops with post-preseason updates, week 1 betting systems, contest strategies, and updated best bets from your favorite VSiN personalities and analysts. Sign up today. You'll also get instant access to the college football betting guide that is out now, as well as daily best bets, real-time bet splits from DraftKings and Circa, AI-powered prop projections, and 24/7 video on the VSiN Watch app. You can start today for as little as $9.99 or save 50% off if you want to get that VSiN Pro annual subscription. Head over to vsin.com/subscribe now. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. He's Jonathan Von Tobel. I'm Stormy Buonantony. You are, indeed. Mm-hmm. I did like the back and forth, though, with you and Chris last segment.
That's what we do.
The hatred is real. People don't realize UNLV and UNR and Nevada. God, that was an accident. Yeah. That is a legit hatred-style rivalry.
It is. I remember one of the first shows I hosted here was with Matt Humans, and I referred to them as UNR. And off the air, he looked at me and he said, "Don't refer to him as that. Yeah. You sound like an amateur." And then he proceeded to refer to them as UNR, I think, like 2 seconds later.
It's funny you say that, though. That was the exact same thing that happened to me. I grew up in Vegas, obviously, and when I started working for the Mountain West, the first event that I worked with them was Football Media Days. And one of my bosses, who's now a great friend of mine, Katie Cavender, is a Nevada alum in the master's program. And the moment she asked me, who's up next? And I said, UNR. The bullets just coming at me. The death stare, swear to you.
Was that one of your first jobs, Stormy?
Yes. Okay. I had a video over the last
so easy to knock you off
24 hours because you're you. So I don't know why you are the way that you are. But over the last 24 hours, I posted a video about my first job in sports, period, and was asking other people that work in sports or the media profession how much money, essentially, they made in their first jobs. Because, well, you and I had the fun exercise the other day of Googling each other and seeing what popped up. One of the things that popped up for me was that my net worth is like $3 million. I was like, well, that's definitely...
That's low.
It's like, well, that is severely inaccurate, but okay. And I talked to a lot of students, as you know, talking about different ways to get into the industry and expectations and people that are going through their first jobs. And like, I have heard from a lot of young people how dissatisfied they are with the job market and like the type of money that they're getting for somebody I heard the other day turned down like a $55K job for their first job out of school. And I said, say what now? So that's what prompted the video, all that to say. And I was shocked at how many people responded to this video, watched this video. It was just like legitimately less than 90 seconds, a throwaway that I did before I went to the gym yesterday. And I got out and there were just like a ton of notifications and stuff. It's up to 3.7 million views right now. So I will ask you the question because you, even though everybody else in the sports media world has seemingly responded to my question, what was your first job, entry-level salary? My own partner, someone that you have referred to me as a friend. Did not respond. Stayed away. No interest. You hate me.
I was like, she's got enough. Like, it's fine. I don't need to respond to this. So this shirt right here that I'm wearing, which I meant to change, but I forgot, it is red. The reason why I bring that up is it is the same color of the polo that I had to wear when I would work overnights at Target while being the producer of the Afternoon Jive program out here for ESPN Las Vegas when I first started. I made, I think, just about $21,000 a year, a little less than that, when I was the producer for an afternoon drive show.
Yes.
Matt Humans, going all the way back then, you were surprised about how long I've known Mitch. I've known Humans that long as well because my first gig as a producer was producing for Matt on his show, the Las Vegas Sports Line, with the late, great Dave Koken, 2 to 3 here out in Las Vegas many years ago. Matt would let me sell their show on the side to make a little extra cash, but I would have to work overnights at Target, so I would start at 2 in the morning, and then I would work until 10, change my shirt, and then go in and then work the afternoon drive until 6 and start it all over again. And I needed to because I needed to make money. I made $21,000 or a little bit less than that. Yeah.
That's what mine was, 23.
Yeah.
And also, even while I was doing that job and when I left that job, if I was doing like freelance sideline gigs and stuff, I would work games for free, maybe $100 here or there on a good day. I said in the video, the first big assignment I got on like a big broadcast, I made $700 from that, and I lost my mind. I was so pumped. Like, that's a massive check, you know?
Sorry, I lied. I was just a barista in Bill's.
But it was interesting looking at some of the responses, though. Like Randy Scott, who hosts SportsCenter over at ESPN, said he made $17,000 in his first gig. Chris Budden, who's one of my favorite sideline reporters, said out there in Tennessee she made like 16. Jane Slater, 16 and a half. Who works for NFL Network.
What about Dan Orlovsky? How did he struggle?
I do feel bad. Dan's got a little bit flamed in the comments here because, and I appreciate because somebody that is honestly in that position coming from playing in the NFL and having those opportunities as a player, it could be very easy to say, like, I'm too good for something, yada, yada, yada. But he did, like, his first gigs in media. He paid for his own flights and hotels and all that. And he wrote that, and everybody's like, oh, yeah, on your cush NFL salary and everything. So some undeserved hate coming Danny O's way today, I think. But appreciate him contribute. It was really, really cool, though, to see how many people have gotten out there. And it's just a reminder, this is one of those jobs where you're probably going to be poor for a while until you get the opportunity.
So even if he made, just to pile on for a second, even if he made the minimum, we're talking about the minimum salary in his first year was $275,000 with no years of service. And that's if he was making nothing. So by the time he got to his last year, if he was making the minimum, and his last year was 2016, and at that point he had 11 years of service. Man, that is tough. Only making $985,000 a year. That's brutal.
My dad actually was making me laugh, though, because he's not on social media, but he watches it, and I think he only follows like 3 people, and obviously his daughter is one of them. But he was a former minor league baseball player back in the day, and he texted me $600 a month in 1980. $750 a month in 81 in minor league baseball.
It's like a millionaire back then.
Just crazy numbers here. By the way, he actually texted us earlier during the show, too, to say Dr. Chow doing gambling. My God. He said his dad, my grandfather, is a former used to run the old sports books here in Vegas, the Santa Anita and the Rose Bowl sports books here. He said Dad would be losing his mind, gambling, doctors, all in the NFL together, college kids going back and forth to the pros. What has the gambling world come to? No rules, baby.
That's right.
It's pretty good.
Chow's going to be with us on Sundays in the tailgate in the mornings, so that'll be fun to have him back, by the way, so we can mention that too.
Yep, was great last year with Mitch and Paul. Going to be back again this season. While we're talking, though, all of the craziness that's going on, I thought this was an interesting report, too, from Bloomberg. I guess this came through a couple weeks ago, and I just missed it. But with me being on social media as much as I have been the last 24 hours, checking these notifications, I saw something that Gen Z is moving, that they have moved on from putting money in stocks to sports and sports betting as part of their wealth-building portfolio. Is that not absurd?
Okay, so what are the numbers behind this, though? Like, you can make the blanket statement that Gen Z is moving towards it, but, like, is it just, hey, a percentage increase, like what is happening, or more Gen Z? Like, what is the actual breakdown of this?
For Gen Z, the 26% is shares of participants who treat sports betting as a deliberate part of long-term financial strategy. The 52% shares of participants who have directed investing funds to sports betting at least once.
Okay.
So taking money out of what would be a standard stock portfolio and putting it as a part of your gambling bankroll as a thought process for long-term success. That blows my mind.
How old
26 and younger. Well, before you get to the youngs.
Okay, come on. How many younger than 26-year-olds have a portfolio?
But an investing plan.
I know, that's what I'm saying. How many actually have that? This seems like a skewed...
I don't know. So I don't know what that number would be.
Right.
But the fact that 52% of them think of this as a viable thing.
Right.
52% of the people that are investing.
Now, this is an extreme, but if it's 52% of 28, it's not that many people.
Well, I just want to get the word out. Don't do that.
Well, sure, of course. But I'm just saying, this goes back to this isn't really vilifying it, but like the dramatic nature with which we cover sports. Like, yes, in a vacuum, that sounds crazy. But then when you really think about it, Gen Z is ages 14 to 29. So realistically, let's
and this older than I thought then.
Yes, but this seems extreme, but let's cut it off even at 18 or 21. Of that percentage of them, how many actually have started or actually have a portfolio? And then the percentage of that have actually, you know what I'm saying?
To go back to the start of our conversation, I didn't even have enough money to live, let alone have a portfolio for a very long time. But we are people that are obviously very pro-gambling, so I think when you see something like this, it is worth noting that is not the way that it operates for most people. That is not the way that you should handle your money. most people lose gambling. Like, keep that in mind. As much as we can on this network, as we have fun talking about games, that's what it's supposed to be, fun. It's not supposed to be a long-term strategy, except for if you are the very, very small percentile that are professionals and can make money from this. This was fun. We will be back tomorrow out at Circa Resort and Casino in our usual studio. Plenty of fun with contest weekend, and we're going to toss it back over there right now. Follow the money with Mitch and Paul coming up after this.
Straight Talk Wireless